The role of scholars, a great responsibility and trust in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to Allah, who sent the messengers as bringers of glad tidings and warners, and elevated the scholars to be the inheritors of the prophets. Blessings and peace be upon our Master Muhammad and his pure family, who illuminated the path of knowledge and understanding with the light of wisdom and faith. Today, we discuss the role of scholars, that heavy responsibility Allah has placed on their shoulders to be a guiding light, leading humanity to truth, a voice defending the oppressed, and a strong barrier against injustice and corruption. Scholars as the inheritors of prophets. The noble messenger, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, said, "The scholars are the inheritors of the prophets," and this statement encapsulates the magnitude of responsibility placed on a true scholar. Just as the prophets were tasked with leading people out of darkness into light, scholars carry the same mission, but through the book, the Sunnah, and the traditions of the prophets and their successors. A true scholar dedicates their life to achieving this noble goal, relying on what Allah stated in the Quran. Those who convey the messages of Allah and fear Him, and do not fear anyone but Allah. And sufficient is Allah as accountant. Al-Ahzab 39. The roles of scholars as defined by Islam. Leading people from darkness to light. The foremost and greatest role of scholars is to illuminate the minds and hearts of people with the light of guidance. This requires profound knowledge, a deep understanding of the Quran and Sunnah, and relentless efforts to direct people toward the truth. However, this role is not merely about conveying information, but about a sincere and dedicated invitation that demands patience and perseverance. As Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said, "If it were not for the presence of the audience, the establishment of proof by the existence of supporters, and what Allah has taken upon the scholars to not remain silent about the overindulgence of the oppressor or the hunger of the oppressed, I would have cast its reins upon its shoulders." This statement from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, part of a sermon in Nahjul Balagha, reflects his role and responsibility as a leader and guardian, as well as the duty of scholars within society. First, he said, "If it were not for the presence of the audience and the establishment of proof by the existence of supporters." Imam Ali, peace be upon him, highlights that his persistence in assuming responsibility stems from the presence of people, those who require leadership and care, and the proof established by the existence of supporters, those who uphold and demand justice and truth. In other words, if there were no one to guide or advocate for justice, there would be no necessity to bear this responsibility. What Allah has taken upon the scholars to not remain silent about the overindulgence of the oppressor or the hunger of the oppressed. Here, the Imam refers to the duty Allah has placed upon scholars, not to remain silent in the face of oppression and injustice, nor to accept that the oppressed remain in a state of weakness and deprivation. In other words, scholars are responsible for standing against injustice and defending the rights of the oppressed. This is both a religious and moral obligation. I would have cast its reins upon its shoulders. The Imam expresses that if not for these reasons, the need for justice and the scholar's duty towards society, he would have relinquished the reins of leadership entirely, much like one would release the reins of a mount without guidance. Roles of scholars. According to the statement defending justice, scholars are tasked with opposing oppression and establishing justice. They cannot remain silent when there is an oppressor violating the rights of others. Championing the oppressed. They must strive to protect the oppressed, whether suffering from hunger, poverty, or any form of injustice. Guiding and advising. Scholars are the inheritors of the prophets, and their role is to guide the people, clarify the correct path, and present arguments to deter deviance. Social responsibility. Scholars cannot isolate themselves from society or ignore the injustices occurring within it. They must be part of the solution, working to rectify matters. General message. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, emphasizes that scholars bear a significant responsibility towards society. This responsibility entails continuous efforts to achieve justice and support the weak. It cannot be abandoned under any circumstances, as it is a divine and moral duty. 2. Enjoining good and forbidding evil. A true scholar does not fear blame when standing for the sake of Allah. Their duty is to support the oppressed against the oppressor, to call others toward goodness, and to forbid evil. The absence of this role leads to the spread of corruption and injustice. Scholars must be the voice that defends truth and strives to establish justice in society. 3. Protecting the weak from the traps of Satan and his followers. Imam al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, said in Bihar al-Anwar, Volume 2, page 5, "The scholars of our followers are stationed at the frontier that faces Iblis and his demons, preventing them from attacking the weak among our followers and stopping Iblis and his followers from dominating them. This role makes the scholar a strong fortress, protecting people from deviation, be it intellectual or moral, and preventing Satan from infiltrating the hearts of the weak." Who is the true scholar? A scholar recognized by Allah, His Messenger, and the Ahlul-Bayt, peace be upon them, as a true scholar is one who possesses exceptional qualities, making them worthy of this great mission. 1. A scholar is one whose knowledge leads them to piety and devotion. As Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said, "The scholar is only one whose knowledge calls them to piety, devotion, asceticism in the transient world, and longing for the eternal abode of paradise." A scholar is not merely someone with knowledge, but one who lives by that knowledge, embodying it in their actions and becoming a model of asceticism and piety. 2. A scholar does not envy those above them or disdain those below them. Imam al-Bakir, peace be upon him, said in Tuhaf al-Uqul, page 294, "A person is not a scholar until they neither envy those above them nor belittle those below them." Humility and freedom from envy are traits of a true scholar. They understand that knowledge is a divine trust and not a means of arrogance or undermining others. 3. A scholar does not exploit their knowledge for worldly gains. As Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said, "A scholar is not a scholar until they do not exploit their knowledge for the fleeting gains of the world." Knowledge is not a commodity, and a true scholar does not use it as a tool for amassing wealth or achieving social status. 4. A scholar is one who fears Allah alone. Allah Almighty says, "It is only those who have knowledge among His servants who fear Allah." A true scholar fears Allah, not people. This fear drives them to fulfill their duties without hesitation, making them a model of courage and sincerity. Number 5. A scholar is a ruler over kings and people. Imam al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, said, "Kings are rulers over people, and scholars are rulers over kings." This statement highlights the greatness of the true scholar's position, who rules with honesty, justice, and knowledge over everyone, including those in power. Mistakes some scholars make. Unfortunately, not everyone who is labeled a scholar truly embodies the role. Many religious figures across different faiths have settled for outward appearances of sanctity, drifting away from the essence of the divine mission entrusted to them. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said, "Scholars are strangers due to the abundance of ignorant people among them." A true scholar is rare amidst the many who claim knowledge without possessing its true characteristics. Conclusion: scholars are the trust of the nation. In the end, scholars are the light of the nation and its hope for transitioning from darkness to light. However, this status is not attained by merely claiming knowledge, but through sincere actions, devotion to Allah, and bearing the responsibility of the divine message without fear or hesitation. Let scholars be as Allah, His Messenger, and the Ahlul-Bayt, peace be upon them, intended them to be: inheritors of the prophets, advocates of truth, and strongholds protecting the nation from deviation and injustice. You've been with the Sacred Narratives Hub by Mansoura Shoberi.